saw me, and forevermore I'd like to share that vintage dream. And forevermore we're living in that vintage dream.
I'm thirsty. He grinned as he stumbled through the bar. Well, he said, give me some more love, give me some love, give it all. His breath really said it all. His car was parked behind the back door. Tuxedo black, El Camino 1969. Well, he said, give me some more love, give me some love, give it all. Filthy fingers say it all. Yeah. Give it.
so you had to have me for yourself. That was when I trusted you, when I could add up 2 and 2. When you promised we'd be together, you, me, forever. Now there's nothing left to lose. And though I understand it's hard sometimes to make up your mind in these trying times, yeah, I just can't accept you leaving me when I'm overseas with the heart so heavy. Think that I deserve the truth for once, not a guilty tone, 'cause you're not alone, yeah. You said you wanna come home, but I know you don't. So this time I won't hear it on the phone. If you got something to say to me, then say it to my face. What it's all about, why you're bailing out. Think you owe me an apology. Just say it to my face. You're sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. Say it to my face. You're sorry.
Join our membership program, sign up, find out what's going on, become a patron, and support our work. We're doing these amazing virtual live streams covering events, marches, protests, and actions that mainstream media just isn't covering.
A lot of these very common sense policy interventions aren't given the space they need.
You know, the truth is, before we have the political revolution, we need a media revolution.
We really see this opening in the media space with television transitioning to the internet in particular. Streaming platforms, Netflix, Hulu, etc., are the next frontier.
And we're not mainstream media. You're not getting a 10-second clip and a very watered down, whitewashed version of what's going on.
Having a media company to support these kind of movement efforts is extremely valuable.
People want to talk to us because they know that we're talking to the people.
We need a dedicated, empowered, honorable base of people who are willing to fight for what they believe in.
This needs to be all of us, not just like watching great content, not just sharing great content, but taking the correlated action and making sure that together these movements are more effective across the board.
We are amplifying activist messages, activist movements, activist campaigns, activist call to action. There's no more important work to be done in this country right now, and ACT TV is doing it, and we need you to be a member. Go to ACT.tv and sign up to be a member today.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Welcome back. And again, welcome to the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. It is May 3rd, 2022. We have been tracking since last night the announcement from the draft opinion coming from the Supreme Court with regards to Roe versus Wade. We are keeping our eye on that, and we're going to discuss that at great lengths today, starting with On the Clock with Georgia Ford. And we're going to be joined by Noah Changa, a friend of the show and a longtime political activist and commentator, to discuss what this means. I want to begin with why doing this from the lens of Blackness is so important. It's so important because as we look through what's happening in today's political landscape, we see how important Black voices are to everything that is going on, not just culturally, but also politically. We were the linchpin in Georgia last year, and rather 2 years ago in 2020. Black voters were the linchpin that helped seal the deal, particularly Black young voters. The demographics came out, and it was Black millennials who helped Joe Biden win the presidency. And so, yes, we root what we do in Black history because what we're doing in our Black present is so important. And what we have to continue to do is have a lens through the past to understand that what we're doing is not new. We are an extension of our ancestors. So please go to blackheritagedays.com and get whatever version that you don't have already of Black Heritage Days and support Dr. Carl Mack as he is bringing forth. And we have a lot of great things that are coming. I don't want to spoil any of the beans there. But I will just look forward to him coming back in June. We look forward to Dr. Mack coming back in June after he's had time to put the finishing touches on all of his projects. That said, I do want to circle back to just briefly touch on and get more details as it pertains to what is going on with Roe versus Wade. I do have to saddle this conversation with a lot of back knowledge and understanding that it has been the purpose of the conservative movement to undo Roe versus Wade since it was decided. It has been the intention of the Republican Party to do this. So this should not be seen as a surprise. This is something that they have been marching towards unapologetically for decades. And now with this released opinion, it is not a final decision. It is a draft opinion that came from the court, which in and of itself is something that has never happened before. But someone leaked this, and we'll get more information on that. I want to read from Politico. The Supreme Court has voted to strike down the landmark Roe versus Wade decision in an initial draft majority opinion written by Justice Samuel Alito, circulated inside the court and obtained by Politico. The draft opinion is full-throated, unflinching repudiation of the 1973 decision, which guaranteed federal constitution protections of abortion rights, and a subsequent 1992 decision, Planned Parenthood versus Casey, that largely maintained that right. We'll discuss this a bit more throughout this episode. Again, Georgia Ford is going to discuss it with us on the clock, and Rebecca Azor will be here to discuss it with us on Like It or Not, and Noah Changa will be joining us to discuss it as well, because this is the crown jewel of a group that I think we need to clearly identify unapologetically. There is a faction in this country that has no other desire than to dominate American society through their religious dogma. They are theocratic fascists. And while they may, I know sometimes I get emails and say, Ben, stop using all the big words. I need you to understand that really precisely defines them. They are people who don't care about democracy because they believe that what they are doing in the name of Christ is more important than democracy. And if you ask them about their interpretation of Christ, they will most certainly consider me an infidel because I think Jesus was Black. So if we're talking about a particular denomination, These are people who would most certainly crush every other version of Christianity that does not meet their standard. And they have financial power, economic power, they have political power, they own politicians. And here they are now getting their crown jewel opportunity to overturn Roe versus Wade. Why? Because they are concerned about life? No. If they were concerned about children being born, then they would address the underlying issues, the overwhelming underlying issues why people make that decision, while women have to make that decision. And oftentimes they are married couples. According to the Guttmacher Institute, a high percentage of people who obtain abortions are married couples doing so after they've already had children. And they're doing so because of an economic condition. And if any of these theocratic fascists who fancy themselves to be the vanguard of the Lord Jesus Christ actually gave a damn about children, then they would address all of the things in this system that kill us every single day. And all the reasons that people who are working 60 hours a week and only making $7.25 an hour have to make that choice that, no, I cannot afford to have another child. That's just my soapbox. There's a long fight ahead of us, but I want you to really understand that there is a political and economic social movement that should be labeled accurately. They are theocratic fascists. They are religious zealots. They are extremists in the order of Osama bin Laden, and they have the majority on the bench. Quote that. I want to move forward to what's happening in Russia. Majority of Americans, rather, support Russian sanctions. A large majority of American sanctions on Russia support it. This is according to a new Washington Post ABC News poll reported on May 2nd. It found widespread bipartisan support for U.S. sanctions imposed on Russia for the invasion of Ukraine. 73% of poll respondents think that the U.S. is doing the right amount to bolster Ukraine and that the U.S. is doing too little, or that the U.S. is doing too little. Only 14% of respondents think the U.S. is doing too much to help Ukraine against the invasion of Russian forces. 13% stated that they had no opinion. There is a faction in this country that no matter what is actually happening before their eyes, they will always still undermine this mission to help Ukraine because it indirectly supports the president that's in power. I mean, there's really no other way to cut it. The Republican Party has decided to abandon foreign policy, which here to this point politics has always ended at the borders of our country, and we spoke with a unified voice. Now, while the majority of Americans do see very clearly that we should be supporting Ukraine, 73% is very encouraging. There will always be a percentage who are not tuned in and always be a percentage who, no matter what the right thing to do is, they will be willing to do the wrong thing for the expediency of their politics. We are going to discuss the really flagrant statements that were made in the broader context of everything that is happening. So I want you to make sure that you stay tuned in for that. So many things that are happening around the country. We want you to join the conversation. Join the conversation today by leaving comments. We will be bringing and replying and answering questions through the comment section. So if you have a minute, if you have a thought and you want to participate, or if you just want to join the conversation, leave us a question and we will do our best at certain points in the show to address it, as well as getting our phone lines up. We want to make this as interactive as possible because, as we have seen on many of our phone calls, some of the brightest conversations or thoughts that come from the show actually come from our supporters. In other international news, Poland moves to help Germany drop Russian oil. This is a very interesting story because of a lot of the complexities that are happening with regard to Russia. It's based on the fact that Europe, many countries in Europe, specifically Germany, is dependent on Russian oil. And Poland is stepping in to try to break that dependency on Russia. According to Reuters, reporting on yesterday, Poland's climate minister said that the country is prepared to help Germany decrease its dependence on Russian oil. Since many EU countries rely on Moscow for energy, the bloc can't seem to agree how sanctions should be implemented. Poland's climate minister said in a statement, as reported by Reuters, as Poland, we are ready to support Germany's ambitions to de-Russify their refineries. I am pausing because of the boldness of that phrase, that very specific phrase, the de-Russification of their refineries. This is a bold statement from Poland's climate minister, but it really speaks to the underlying issue here. We do very clearly see on the international stage what Russia is doing to be a violation of everything that has been built post-World War II. Yet there are actors, namely Germany, on the international stage who find themselves unable to do everything that they can because of their dependence on Russian oil, which speaks to the underlying issue. Our nations have been pigeonholed and controlled by fossil fuels for so long that now we are engaged in yet something that could amount to be World War III. And at the core of it is the question of oil, Nord Stream 2. Behind almost every war that we have seen on the face of this planet has had roots in fossil fuels, in oil. And so for Poland to step in to offer this, it is a bold statement, particularly because of Poland's proximity to Russia and the fact that Poland has always had these tight friction with Russia post the fall of the USSR. So Poland is sticking its neck out here. But more importantly is the fact that globally, if we do not move away from our fossil fuels, and we'll be talking about it at great lengths and on the clock with Georgia Ford, there are just so many reports that are showing our negligence as a species, our negligence as a civilization, as a group of collective countries. Our negligence is leading us to destruction. And one of the main reasons is because we cannot get ourselves off of fossil fuels. And it's not only destroying our planet, which is the bottom line, it's also destroying the structure and the order that we have had in this world. Not perfect by any means. I'm one of the highest and biggest critics of this order. But we most certainly understand that what Vladimir Putin desires is something that is anathema to everything that we have stood for and believe in.
Mama, good morning. Love you, mean. Good morning to you, Mama. Y'all stay tuned, man. We'll be right back.
I'm feeling like a man lately. Can't nobody do it like I can daily. Baddest in the land. Body turn your nigga to a fanny up.
Shade Dragon, good morning.
I made it with
Keegan, good morning to you.
Had a couple blocks in the road, but I get to the bag on the loan. I be counting stacks while they grow, yeah, you know me. Baby, won't you keep me company? Give me something to do when I get lonely. I got something for you when we get home. If you let me put it down, when I come and
Mary C, good morning.
Keep your minds on me, on try, baby. I think you should side with me. Stay solid when.
Good morning, everybody. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Creative Impact, good morning. Marsha Reese, good to see you. Good morning to you.
It's easy being petty. Mama used to tell me, gotta use you when you're ready. Cause I ain't working on my own timing. Ain't got no diamonds on me, but I stay shining. Yeah, yeah. They say the world would be a better place if we take out the hate.
Hollywood 2000, India Brown, Ron Foreman, good morning, y'all.
Light up on my path and the lamp under my feet. I know my faith strong.
Elizabeth Lonza, good morning. Brandy Edie, happy birthday, Elizabeth Lonza. Oh my gosh, happy birthday to you, y'all. Make sure y'all send y'all happy birthday wishes to Elizabeth Lonza.
But your words can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me.
Soup City Socialist, good morning to you.
More than I've been wrong, and it still can't hurt me.
Deb, good morning to you, Deb.
No, you just can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No, no, no.
Greg, and good morning. Birdie, what's going on, Birdie? Good morning. Indian Brown birthday as well today too. Good morning, Indian Brown. Happy birthday to you. And of course, my TV has gone on. I eat my camera.
I'm a little bit too consumed, but every part of my body is telling me to run away from you. Come a little bit closer, yeah, yeah. Come a little little bit closer. Yeah, you're a little bit crazy. It's been days, but you never change. What's love got to do with it? He comes around, better knock that stuff down. Come a little bit closer. Yeah, yeah. Come a little bit closer. Yeah. So all my ladies who got a brother that doesn't treat them right, put your finger right in his face and tell that man bye-bye. I'm too fly. I'm too fly. Bye-bye. 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 You're a little bit selfish. You get mad every time you lose. You can't take me with you. I'm scared you're gonna blow your fuse. Come a little bit closer. Yeah, I can really start over. Yeah, in the back of my mind, there's someone waiting on me. You're just wasting my time because you're scared and lonely. Finally got some closure. Yeah,
Miss Sophia, good morning to you. Brittany, good morning.
Yeah, so all my ladies who got a brother that doesn't treat them right, put your finger right in his face and tell that man bye-bye. I'm too fly. I'm too fly. Bye-bye. 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 Here's to the
all right, y'all know what time it is.
She's too used to be.
We are now on the clock for Georgia Court. Georgia, good morning to you.
I'm glad that's what you believe.
This morning, we examine what's taking place with Roe versus Wade. For nearly 50 years, women have had the right to choose. They have been able to decide the future of their bodies, the future of their homes, and in some cases, the future of their lives. In some instances, women are faced with a very complex choice of whether or not to save their baby or save themselves. And up until now, since at least about the 70s, women have been able to make that choice for themselves. However, with the decision looming on whether or not the Supreme Court is going to overturn Roe versus Wade, many women are feeling like that choice is being taken from them. In fact, we're seeing thousands of people, men and women alike, take the streets across the country to protest the idea of Roe versus Wade being overturned. Here in Minnesota, in both St. Paul and Minneapolis, we've been seeing protests. I want you guys to go ahead and take a look at the two emergency rallies that took place when the news first came out.
Why are we here today arguing this over and over again? The lawmakers who claim to care about life are word-vomiting bullshit. Of course, they don't actually care about the well-being of any fetuses and soon-to-be newborns. Not at all. This much is apparent in the disgusting lack of investment in social policies such as universal health care, the inaccessibility of our infrastructure, and the disinvestment in public education.
Women embody various identities and affinities, and just uterus having people in general. If we look around, we will see that there is no singular definition of what it means to be a woman. And it's harsh, but we also know that not all women are treated the same. Not all assigned female at birth people are treated the same. Indigenous women, poor women, disabled people, black and brown people, trans and non-binary people. The farther one is from the ideal person, the greater discrimination and abuse one can face. We're demanding everyone be treated with humanity and not with discrimination.
They assured us that we were secure because we had this untouchable line of defense in Roe v. Wade. But the truth is that they saw this crisis coming and they had opportunity after opportunity to stop it, and they did nothing. They failed us. They sat back and allowed their conservative counterparts to pass abortion abortion restrictive bills that stripped effective abortion from almost the entire South this year. And they won elections for the past 50 years on the rhetoric of protecting reproductive freedom, meanwhile doing nothing to codify abortion rights in federal law. Someone say shame! And women's rights are under attack! What do we do? When women's rights are under attack, what do we do? When trans rights are under attack, what do we do?
And so, as you can see there, DJ Exclusive, I mean, hundreds of people came out. That's just here in Minnesota. But on the other side of this, from the faith community, people are saying we need to protect the sanctity of life. What are your thoughts on this?
Georgia, it's a lot. It really is, just... First of all, that the leak even happened is a lot, but now that, they're confirming that it is true and everything is going on, I'm glad that there are so many protests popping up. I know here in Atlanta as well, too. Once it came out, the protesters, they showed up right there at the Capitol steps here in Atlanta as well to protest. So I'm glad it's happening. But, that other caveat is you have those that are in support of this showing up as well, too. And just listening to some of those comments that they make, it's almost like, do you hear what you're saying? And the disturbing part of that is some of those people are the people that look just like you and I, Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for me, I feel like it's not my place to be God. Amen. At the end of the day, like, no one on this earth is perfect. And if you are a spiritual person, that is what the Bible says, is like God is going to judge us based on our own decisions that we make. And so it doesn't quite make sense to me that we still, as a country, we don't have paid parental leave. And so if a family, even this happens sometimes for married couples where they're on baby number 5 or 6, and trying to make ends meet. Maybe the mom just started a new job. She's not going to get parental leave. She's going to actually lose her job. That happened to me twice, not being eligible for maternity leave. And so it feels like there's a double-edged sword in our laws, because if we're removing the right for women to have an abortion, what protections are we putting in place for them to keep the baby and also keep their job and also maintain their health? And so, it's just in the same breath of these lawmakers who are saying that they want to ban abortions, they should also be saying, and we're going to advance paid parental leave, and we're going to provide free, preschool for all kids. We're going to reduce the cost of childcare, but none of those things are happening. So for me, you can't just say, let's protect the children, but then not stand up and actually pass legislation that protects the children when they're born.
Right.
And so that's the part where it frustrates me. I'd love to hear from you guys, by the way. Those of you who are listening, you can call in at 301-715-8592. That's going to be pinned in the chat. Again, that's 301-715-8592. I understand this is a really complex issue. We want to hear from you regardless of where you stand, or even if you've had your own personal experiences. DJ Exclusive, you said in Atlanta, they're also protesting this. I know in Portland, they're protesting. I've seen a few other cities that are protesting too. Has there been any lawmakers out there who have stood up to take a stand either for or against this?
Georgia, they've been very, very quiet here in Georgia. I can honestly say that here. Haven't heard anything from our state politicians. So I am interested to see. I know that day to day that the protests are growing. So I am interested to hear from them. But as of now, nothing at all. Only one that we have heard something from is Stacey Abrams, of course.
I am sort of back on the screen, DJ Exclusive. Welcome and good morning to everyone. Welcome back to the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. And on the clock, I look like I am ascending into the heavens. But we are here. DJ Exclusive, hey, brother, thank you so much for holding it down. I think the music was better than anything I was going to say anyway.
I appreciate it, sir. Being always trying to find a way to be off screen, y'all. Ain't nothing wrong with his internet. He just don't want to be on camera.
Listen, now, if anybody knows me well, they already know I have changed clothes and I have changed location. I use the internet being out. And listen, here's the bad thing about it. Like, I live in the country now. I live out in the boondocks. Like, I live as far off the grid as you can get to actually have internet. But that means that when something goes down, it takes quite a time to get it up and running again out here. So that's the bad side. I'm hoping to find some countryside with cows and chickens and lakes that has like fiber optic cables one day. That's my dream home. But until then, we're going to keep making it do. Listen, there's a lot happening in the Tulsa. There's a lot happening in Tulsa right now, and as it pertains to what we now call the Tulsa race massacre. Originally, the Tulsa incident that happened over 100 years ago was called a race riot, which was incorrectly named because it was not a battle between black people and white people. It was a massacre of black lives by jealous-hearted white folk. And so there have been years that families have been trying to get some type of reparations, some type of compensation for what happened to those families. I want us to play this explainer. It's about a minute and a half, but I want to bring everyone up to speed on the progress of those lawsuits and trying to get reparations for the survivors of the victims of the Tulsa race massacre.
He was 6 months old when the Tulsa race massacre happened. Tonight, Hugh Van Ellis, or Uncle Red, is 101 and one of 3 survivors suing officials in Tulsa, Oklahoma for one last chance at justice.
I'm lucky to be here, lucky to be alive to tell this story. I didn't want to say this. It's been inside of me for a long time.
Tonight, winning a major victory, a judge ruling their reparations lawsuit will go to trial. Just a day before, supporters showed solidarity during a local prayer rally. Tulsa native Demario Solomon Simmons was there. He represents massacre survivors and descendants.
What exactly are survivors asking for?
We're basically stating very clearly that the massacre that happened in 1921 created a public nuisance.
Plaintiffs claim the public nuisance caused negative outcomes for survivors and descendants. Now they're seeking multiple forms of restitution.
One of the things we're asking for in our lawsuit is educational scholarships and grants because of the educational opportunity that was stripped and stolen away.
The 1921 Tulsa race massacre was sparked by a rumor that a black man, Dick Rowland, had sexually assaulted a white girl, Sarah Page.
The official death toll was 37, but historians like Carlos Hill now say the attack on the Greenwood community by a white mob and officials likely led to 300 fatalities. The result, survivors say, generations of racial disparity, economic inequality, and trauma.
Wow.
Now, yet on Monday, an Oklahoma judge ruled that the lawsuit seeking reparations for the 1921 Tulsa race massacre can proceed, bringing new hope for some measure of justice for the 3 survivors of the deadly racist rampage who are now over 100 years old and were in the courtroom for the decision. That this was an attempt for the case to be blocked and stopped, to stop justice. And the judge stepped in and said, no, the case can continue. So it's not completely resolved, but it is a positive step in the right direction. Over 100 years, Bubba, 100 years, and we still haven't gotten justice. Those families still have not gotten justice in the form of reparations. Because here's the thing, there were, and Georgia tells the story so much better, but there were businesses that were black businesses, obviously, that were destroyed, but there are also black businesses that were taken by white folk. And those businesses stayed and thrived for years while the black families and the descendants of the survivors got nothing. So this is part of some of the part of the lawsuit. But I just thought that, man, 100 years, it takes so long to get justice around here.
Yeah, that sounds about right, man. 100 years, I mean, we still haven't gotten justice for a lot of stuff. So it falls in line to what this country already is about anyway. So, but I'm glad that everything is moving forward in the right direction. Excuse me. And I'm just glad that we have not allowed the history of this to die. And like a lot of other towns that have the same kind of what can I say? Have the same kind of y'all know what I mean. The other towns that have the same kind of people and everything. I'm just glad, like, you know, that this is still ongoing, and like we know the history of this, and it's been talked about in so many TV shows, so many movies. So I'm glad that this history is still alive, and we know the history of it. Hate that it happened, but I'm glad that finally there is some justice. Hopefully, will be served.
Well, see, James, that's the thing, man. I can't even front. Like, I think I was a good and grown man before I learned about this. I don't mean in my 20s. I think I didn't learn about Tulsa until I was in my 30s.
Ben, absolutely, man. You absolutely right. I know it was my late 30s when I first learned about it.
And the only reason I knew about Rosewood, I don't know if you remember when Rosewood came out, but we were somehow, you know what, this is crazy. I wasn't even at Cookman yet, but my high school took us up to Bethune-Cookman for this festival. And we tried to go to the theaters to watch the movie Rosewood, but they wouldn't let this choir full of black folks in to go see Rosewood. Later on, I understood why, because at the end of that movie, man, I was ready to run out of there and tear some stuff up, because it showed how black people created community. Black people created economies. Black people created businesses, and we were thriving. And then they came and destroyed it, city by city by city by city. And so now when you hear these descendants of those saltines say stuff like, you just need to work harder, I'm like, no, what happened was you took away all of the progress that we got even after slavery. So yeah, no, I get it why they didn't want that choir full of black teenagers to go into that movie, because a lot of times the only way we get our history is when somebody decides to put it in a movie. And so yeah, there it is, man.
And honestly, I think I learned more about Tulsa from Watchmen, the series that came on HBO. That's where I find out most of some of the information. And when I saw it, I'm like, wait, this just seems all too real. So once I started doing more research, that's when it was like, yo, this was a real city and a real place. It's like, this is crazy that this is the only way that this was talked about. So that's glad that Watchmen did it. It was awesome how they did that show, because I love how it ended and everything. They got that justice. My gosh, Ben, you got to see it.
Yeah, so that's one thing though that should give us hope for like the generations to come, is because like the access to information is so much easier. Like before, like you all are saying, you wouldn't know about stuff. They're not going to teach you in school. You'd have to have somebody, you know, ancestors give you to pass down the information or kind of stumble upon it. But now it's so much easier to get information. You can't censor stuff as easily. So the future generations will have all the tools. They just have to, you know.
That's facts. They have to be willing to search it and know how to search. And you're right, man, because the only reason history is hidden now is because we don't know how to search for it. I don't care how bad they work that algorithm against us. It's in there. We have to go find it, especially when you got brothers like Brother Mac. Like honestly, I'm in school now. I'm in school because I got that calendar, and 90% of the calendar I didn't know. I can't even front. And so it's. I think the other thing is that we don't all have to be super black where we're supposed to already know all this. Nah, no, we are black. We're black in a country that was designed to keep our knowledge from us. So I think all of us should just kind of take that position of student when it comes to history, because there's so much we all just got taken away from us. You know. All right, James. Dwayne. Let's jump back to some of the clips that I couldn't get to from the first segment. I want to play this next clip of Chuck Schumer. Now, it's a really short clip, and in context, he's talking about the Supreme Court decision or the impending decision, and he's talking about this current Republican Party not being what it used to be. But I want to give a couple of examples. Let's run that first Chuck Schumer clip.
This isn't your grandfather's Republican Party, America. It's Donald Trump's Republican Party. It's a right-wing Republican Party. It's a party where your children will have less rights than you did.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Straight and to the point. I hope they mean it. I hope they understand what it means to say that, because when I say these folks ain't your regular folks, I mean stuff like this next guy, Shane. What's Shane's last name? We pay him Vaughn. Shane Vaughn. Shane Vaughn. This is your Republican. This is your 2022 Donald Trump Republican. Let's play it.
Yep.
This is about a God that appointed a man. And you see, I've got enough Italian in me to know what loyalty means. Here's the way it works for me. I love loyalty. Loyalty is a forgotten quality. Donald Trump, you fought for my family will fight for you. You went in that White House and you made our life better. You made our economy better. You made our churches better. You allowed us the freedom to choose a vaccine if we wanted one or not. You fought for our freedom, and I'm not about to start second guessing your choices and what you do. If you make a mistake, it'll be on you, sir. But I will be loyal. I'm not a Tino. I'm not a Valentino. I am a Trump supporter. Why? Because God chose the man, and I've got sense enough to know it, recognize it. I know where the blessing is. Let me tell you something. When you find a blessed man, when you find a blessed ministry, you better plant your feet under that blessing, and it will fall down on top of you.
Gentlemen, that's your. And see, that's not just a Republican. That's a evangelical pastor, right? That's one of the guys. He understands lawyer. I guess he was trying to make himself seem tough. I don't know if that was supposed to put some backbone in his posture. I don't know. But
he's one of the Italians I think they considered a rat. Is that what they used to say? Like watching all the movies with the Italians in, he's a rat. They don't respect him. I think that's he's one of those. That's it. Yeah.
They don't even know his name, man. They don't even know who this dude is.
Right. It's not worth knowing, man. It's not worth knowing at all.
It's not giving. It's not giving what it's supposed to give. But here is another Republican that really shows you that we're not dealing with a normal breed of politician, or I would even argue a normal breed of human being. I would also argue that there is a possibility that we might be dealing with some remnants of the Neanderthal species. Let's take a listen to Marjorie Neanderthal Green.
Oh, here we go.
I'm sorry. I thought you saw it.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. You can take her time putting her on the screen, Dwayne. It's okay. She's just like, be slow like her, Dwayne. It's okay. It's okay.
Take your time, sir. Take your time.
Illegal immigration. Some refugee resettlement also, but the vast bulk of the money that they've taken over the years is to essentially skirt around the U.S. immigration laws. I mean, you've just described a situation with America falling apart. And yet here are all these religious leaders like, oh, we have to love the family and this and that. Is that two-faced?
It's interesting. I thought we had a separation of church and state, right?
Yeah.
No, what it is it's Satan's controlling the church. The church is not doing its job, and it's not adhering to the teachings of Christ, and it's not adhering to what the Word of God says we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to live. And what they're doing by saying, oh, we have to love these people and take care of these migrants and love one another. This is loving one another. Yes, we are supposed to love one another, but their definition of what love one another means destroying our laws.
So she's, to be sure, she's talking specifically about churches in America that are helping immigrants. She said that the churches in America that are helping immigrants are being controlled by Satan, and that there's supposed to be separation of church and state. That's rich coming from the Republican Party. But I just would argue with Democrats like Chuck Schumer, when you say stuff like we're not dealing with the same type of Republican Party, do they really know the depth? Because if they did, I think they wouldn't talk about it. I think they'd be out there knocking on some... Anyway, James, I think they don't realize the score. We got some crazy folks that we got to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. And Dwayne, I was just about to ask you to pull a clip for me that's in there. It's the whole religion thing to me, and I forgot what her name is from TYT. She said it best. It's just like one of those things to where everyone claims it's just like it's separation of church and state, but clearly it's church and Christianity is all up in the politics. You know, so it's one of those things where it's just like, just because you have your beliefs, you're pushing your beliefs onto me when we have all these people in the country that don't have the same beliefs that you do. So it's like you're making me conform to what your beliefs are. And that should not be how politics works. That should not be how this government works. So if we do have that separation of church and state, it needs to be enacted, because right now y'all are trying to push all these Christianity values on the American people, and just not everybody doesn't look at that the same way. And you know what, man? Tell MGT is one of the main ones that does it.
Exactly.
All of these Republicans.
Exactly. Do we have that clip, Dwayne?
Yeah, I'm loading it in now. But sometimes I wonder, like, do these people really believe the stuff that they're saying, or are they just being paid well enough to go out?
Right. Oh my gosh, Dwayne.
Spitting this bull. I can't in my mind believe that all of these people really stand behind the things that they're saying.
No, I don't think they do. I don't think they do. I don't think they even believe in God.
Yeah,
I think majority of Republicans who are out here saying God don't believe in God, because if they did, they know their asses are on their way to hell.
Yeah, like a lot of times when we play these clips of these pastors and stuff, I don't know if y'all watch it, but the Righteous Gemstones.
Never.
So I can't remember Danny from Eastbound and Down, but it's a show. But it's basically just making fun of like the mega church kind of structure. But that's what it reminds me of. Just all about the money.
HBO Max, right, Dwayne? Okay,
Yep.
Okay. I've been seeing. I need to watch it now. Okay.
Yeah. So they can't believe all this stuff. I got your clip coming too, Bubba.
Okay. So and it's a clip of that's Anna. And yo, you got it.
Yeah, Anna Kasparian from the TYT. Yep, that's who it is. Thank you. But yeah, like exactly what Dwayne said is just like these people can't believe half the stuff that they say and that they push, and a lot of people are saying it in the chat as well too. And like you said, man, it's all money. They're getting paid this money. Like, hey, if you get up there and say this, we're going to cut you a check for multi-million dollars and go and leave it at that.
And they get some notoriety. And let's, before we run this clip, let me give you let me tell you who maybe sort of believed in God. The jury's still out on Thomas Jefferson, whether he believed in God or not. But he believed in God enough to say this. He said, I tremble for my country when I consider that God is just and his justice won't sleep forever. Right? Now, if you believe in God and you talk about America, that's about the only thing you can say. So all the rest of it is pretty much crap. Let's listen to this clip if you got it right. Let's run it.
These comments might be strong, but it's how I genuinely feel. I don't care that you're a Christian. I don't care what the Bible says. Like, I feel like it's a clown show, like sitting here trying to decipher what your little mythical book has to say about these very real political issues, right? I don't care if you're Christian. In fact, I will fight for you to have your religious liberty and practice your Christianity. I believe in that. I don't believe in Christianity, which means that you do not get to dictate the way I live my life based on your religion. I don't care what the Bible says. You have every right in the world. All those women who identify with your religion have every right in the world to not get an abortion, to not take birth control, but they do not have the right to dictate my life and what I decide to do with my body. I don't care about your goddamn religion. I'm so tired of having nonstop conversations about what the Bible says. You live your life in the way that you interpret the Bible. Again, I don't care, but you don't get to take the Bible and tell me, well, the Bible says this in this chapter, in this verse. I don't care. I don't care. I don't believe in it. And I have the right, based on our Constitution, to not believe in it.
But they don't believe in it either. They don't believe in it either. Shout out to Anna. I love it when Anna gets like 38 hot. Like she would, and she. You know what's funny is like I've been on the show and she knows like I'm not, I won't say I'm a devout Christian, but I'm a Christian and we have that conversation just like that.
because that's the way it's supposed to be, man. I'm supposed to be able to sit right next to an atheist and we not have to go to war with each other because the Constitution laid it out that way. But we got these raggedy evangelicals who are so white evangelicals, white conservative evangelicals to be precise. They're so committed to controlling what we do in every aspect. I swear they wouldn't care that I have been a Christian since I was 7. They will line me up and execute me alongside of every other atheist, every other agnostic, everybody that they disagree with. Why? Because I don't believe in the same saltine white Jesus that they believe in. So I want to make sure people understand that this isn't just about the Bible. It's about a very religious, dogmatic sect of Christianity that will kill the rest of Christians, just like ISIS kills Muslims.
And so I grew up in the church, but I kind of strayed away a little bit. But from my understanding of what I remember, isn't it supposed to be about like the only one that can pass judgment on people is God himself? Like, and God loves everybody. Like they're directly contradicting what it's supposed to be about.
You can't even be Christian through force. You cannot be Christian. You cannot become a Christian. God would not accept your acceptance letter if somebody forced you to write it, right? So all these people running around saying we're going to make America the Christian nation, they're not saying they're going to try to get every individual saved and right with God, because it just doesn't work like that according to the Bible. They're saying we just want to control everybody's sexuality for their own personal pleasure.
Yep. Y'all black men is spitting this morning, and I appreciate both of y'all. And I'm like Dwayne. It's just one of those things, I grew up in the church, and it was right there. But, what happens is you grow older and you have what's called free will. So I had free will to where I'm thinking, and my mind started thinking about stuff, and I started learning more and coming to know about the Bible, a book that was passed down from ages ago, knowing that a lot of stuff in there was changed and it's not the real thing. So I started questioning a lot of it. And then especially because during slavery, y'all put this book on us to instill fear into us. So I don't believe in the book that was put here to instill fear in me. Yes, I think there are some things that are true within it, but I think there are some things that it's just like, nah, man, not at all. It's an interpretation, and just because you interpret it one way doesn't mean I have to accept your interpretation and I interpret it the same way. Not at all. Not at all. Y'all won't push that. Y'all won't push that on me at all. Sorry.
Talk. And I would say, see, we got a nice little range of belief systems here at the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. We have full-on atheists. We have agnostics. One of my biggest supporters, has been my supporter since I started 8 years ago, is a Satanist. Don't know how it works, but it works. We get along swimmingly. Right. But I'm going to tell you, at the other end of the spectrum, man, I guess I'm probably the most religious. I actually went to divinity school. Like I didn't finish because I got what I needed and I left. But you know what I mean? I've studied the Hebrew. I've studied the Greek. I've broken down this. I would like to challenge any conservative who actually thinks that they are representing the right interpretation of the Bible. I would actually like to challenge you from a theological perspective, because I think you're full of shit that way too. I think politically you all are full of shit. I think spiritually God don't even like y'all. And I think theologically y'all can't keep up.
But see, Ben, they're not going to take that, because once they run out of the talking points on their sheet, they ain't going to have nothing to say. So they're not going to want to have that back and forth. Because after about a minute and a half, it's going to be like, well, up. They're going to have to go back to the top of their sheet and try to hit you with the talking points from the top of the sheet.
That's right.
Yep.
And then they're going to try to, get black preachers. And God said,
yep.
when they ran out of all their racism in church, they went black. When they couldn't grow their churches through white supremacy anymore, they turned to Paula White. Anyway, so I ain't got time for them or any. It's a matter of a constitutional principle. The very best thing for humanity is that every religion or no religion at all coexists, and nobody has a right to push over anybody else based on their beliefs. I co-sign what Anna says 100%, even though it did prick my heart when she said, I don't care about your goddamn Bible. I was like, oh, Jesus, but baby Jesus, I love the Bible.
Anna came with it. Anna said, I got time today, goddammit. Let me talk about this for a minute.
Oh, man. Hey, let's go to break, Dave. This is a good spot, man. We'll be back with Like It or Not after this.
All right, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. We got coming up next in the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show, Like It or Not, with Rebecca Zora. It's about to go down. Y'all stay tuned. Good morning. Eric Killmonger, good morning.
When I wake up,
you are, Ben, you are.
and when I come home at night, everything is covered.
Shout out to Eric checking in from. So what's going on, Eric? Good morning to you. Lux, good morning.
I guess I'm living in the dark days. Because I sure can't see no light. Ever since you left, there's been nothing but a cloudy sky. And there's no day, there's only night.
John F., you said that. Tiger, good morning, Tiger. Hollywood, good morning to you.
To rest. Now everything is covered in blue. And my heart is put to the test. I guess I'm living in.
Oh, is it now? Got to go check it out. Kareem, good morning to you. Happy May the 4th, everybody. If you're just joining us, y'all missed Chewbacca who came in, made an appearance. Parker, good morning. Thank you for your super chat. Says, can y'all please talk about the Nina Turner loss? I'm sure we will get to it, Parker. Thank you again. Il Hustle, good morning. Kitty Mills, what's going on? John, it's okay, man. It's here when you really tell the truth and not who doesn't like it, John. It's okay.
You love me so, but now you're saying you have to go. Just like the lightning from a clear sky. I wasn't ready to say goodbye. Ever since you left, there's nothing but a cloudy sky. And there's no day, there's only night. Now I'm sitting.
What's to be good? Good morning to you.
Trying to see the light in the dark.
Elephants are afraid of bees. Good morning. May the 4th be with you as well. So y'all, I just broke 2 of my dad's old Queen records. Now I want to break 3. Y'all don't get it. Pray Nate, good morning to you. Laura Strada, good morning.
I need all the wins. Yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call and quits. Yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets. Yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits.
Okay, here's y'all May the 4th joke. What did Yoda say when he saw himself in 4K? What did Yoda say when he saw himself in 4K? HDMI.
You might get knocked out. Heart on my sleeve, stress, shield my greed. That's how I get it. Success ain't no giving. Some days I don't eat, I don't sleep.
Right away.
They don't want it when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank.
Renee, happy birthday to you. 46th birthday. Oh, happy birthday. Y'all can show Pray Day some love. Whose birthday is today. Happy birthday to you.
From out of my pocket, Houston, we got a problem. I ain't perfect, let them watch me. Elevating, got them nauseous, cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. No, it's driving, ain't no option. Watch how I get ahead, watch how I get ahead, watch how I get ahead. Watch how I set it up, that's why I shut it down, watch how I get a win. I don't think it really when I
after all these years, my wife still thinks I'm sexy. Every time I walk by, she says, what nass?
Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets. Yeah, better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out.
Tinder bio says that I have a corner office with views of the entire city, drive a $500,000 vehicle, and that I'm paid to travel. My dates are always upset when I tell them I'm a bus driver.
I could really use a change of scenery. Yeah, everybody smoking all the greenery.
Silk City Socialist, good morning to you.
Down to me, but I'm still fly. I'm still fly. I know. I'm still fly. I'm still fly. Let's go. It could all be
for promises manifested.
Like you.
What did the mommy spider say to the baby spider?
But that poison's gonna chew
you. Spend too much time on the web.
From the inside out. So right now, say it with your chest.
Derek Fuller, good morning. Tyra, good morning to you.
I'm free. Can't nobody take me here.
Elizabeth Lanza, good morning, and may the 4th be with you as well. Parker, good morning.
It's my time to ride. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to ride it out. It's my time, it's my time, it's my time to ride it out. It's your time, oh. Cheers to all the haters, cause you proved to me that rising to the top was my destiny. And you can see whatever from behind me, but I'm still fly.
Brandy, absolutely. This is definitely going on the mixtape. Varia, good morning to you.
I'm still fly. I'm still fly. Let's go. It could all be worse. I could be a hater like you. It could close to make the man, but that poison's gonna kill you.
Teresa, good morning. I went to see the doctor about my blocked ear. He asked, which ear is it?
Just now say it with your chest.
2022, I replied.
I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to ride it out. It's my time. It's my time. It's my time.
Y'all don't understand I ain't got no sense of it. I'll be laughing at my own self. It's okay. Because my boyfriend's cell phone service sucks. 8 days ago, he said, we're breaking up. The call ended, and it's gone straight to voicemail ever since.
It's my time to ride it out.
Kev Z, what's going on?
If you're on the bus, say yeah. If you're on the train, say yeah.
Black Dragon, what's going on? Good morning to you. He said he's ready for his next karaoke song. Black Dragon did pretty good as well, too. I think he was the first one that went. So shout out Black Dragon again.
So put your fist up in the air. Say yeah. I'm young.
Promises manifested, you better say that. Me too. At my age, I'm no longer a snack. I'm a Happy Meal. I'll come with toys and keys.
It's my time. It's my time to ride. I'm young. I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to ride.
All right, got you. Somebody should market a beer called Occasionally. So when asked, I can say, I only drink occasionally.
Yeah.
Oh, my camera died. I done broke the internet.
It's time for my government job. 9 a.m. to 10:30. Yeah.
It looked like the closing screen when TV go off. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, interviews and all the news we get to choose what gets the views. Like it or not, with Queen Azula get started now, so stick around. Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, y'all stick around. Oh, Rebecca Azula is coming through. She got a good story for you. Oh, Benjamin That's my dog. This is his show. He's a politics bro. I am your DJ. DJ exclusive. Y'all know who I am. I stay dropping them jams. Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, y'all stick around. Oh, like it or not, it's starting now. Like it or not, it's about to go down.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Wait a minute. Now, you can't do that when I'm sitting over there looking like I'm in a casket, and then you over there sitting like, may the fourth be with you, brother. To the listening audience, you cannot participate in this particular part. Oh, actually, you can. You can hear him. You can hear the insanity. Welcome to Like It or Not. James, say good morning. James, say good morning to the people, man.
Good morning, yo. I was saying good morning, man. You ain't hear me?
Oh, I don't speak Wookiee. Sorry, not Wookiee.
Wookiee. You said it. That's right.
Yeah. Oh man, I felt like I had walked myself to a pop quiz about Star Wars all of a sudden. But welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth
and not care who doesn't like it. As you see, Benjamin Dixon is in Avatar land today. He want to be Avatar so bad.
Well, look, bro, I'm going to have to create a technology where I don't actually have to be on screen to do this show, because I signed up to do radio, I'll be honest with you. When I first started doing this, all I wanted to do was radio, and then I realized, oh man, people got to see me now. I gotta try to lose weight. Got to put on I got to wake up and put on clothes and stuff. So
right,
if we could do this with avatars, you know I would. What's next?
What's next is, I don't know if you guys already had discussed, but Brittany Griner. I know that the U.S. now considers Brittany to be wrongfully detained by the Russian government, and they're signaling a significant shift in how officials will try to get her back home. I got major pushback by people who don't look like me. I got major pushback when I told them that we should not be focused on Joe Biden's son and his laptop, because it was so long ago and it was already ruled by the courts that there was no foul play here. But the fact that you guys want to make that such a story when Brittany Griner is in Russia, stuck there in the middle of a war over vaping, that bothered me. I said, if we can focus more on bringing light to this story so that it doesn't go under the radar, maybe we can, focus on America being able to talk about and mention so that nobody forgets Brittany out there. People were saying, the family said, don't talk about it. When I searched high and low for that information, I don't know where they got that from. I could not find that the family said, don't talk about it. I did see that an official who was handling the case, or who, was making a statement for the White House, was saying that they aren't going to talk about it, so that gives them better chances to get her out. And I don't know, for me, that bothered me, because I think of a lot of the people that we didn't talk about anymore, and it just became yesterday's news.
Yeah.
And one day we just didn't give a damn. You see what I'm saying? And for them to have made her out to be oh, well, she did wrong anyway. That bothered me too, because I'm like, it's a whole war happening over there. So we know exactly why she was detained. The fact that the amount of time that she was being detained for was, I don't like that people try to make that, like that whole thing, a conversation, a point to roll off of. I think the fact of the matter for me was I wanted America to do something about a black woman who was out there by herself with nobody. I wanted them to show up in a different kind of way. I wanted them to show that they can protect people, the same way they protect others. I wanted to see that moment happen, especially because she is someone who represents the U.S. when she does play for the U.S. Here at a part of the WNBA. And then when she's traveling, she's an American basketball star representing in another country.
That's right.
For America. And I just felt that in that moment, that she just needed more. I wanted it to be highlighted. I wanted it to show that we are going to stand together for her and want to get her out of there and cover it as much as possible so that when she came home, she knew they were looking for me. Mm-hmm. They were looking for me. America really cared about the fact that I was out there. And that's what bothered me the most. And I know people were saying, well, no, we got to focus on not talking about it so they don't do anything to her. If we don't talk about it, Well, I'm like, we're not talking about what's happening because we don't even know that. We're just going to keep Brittany Griner's name in the news. That's it. Hey, before we end, Brittany Griner is still stuck in Russia. Hopefully we can get her out. Right. Brittany, our hearts are with you. Brittany, we ain't forget about you. Like something. The president of the United States could have done better with addressing it as well. This is what I'm talking about. There are key moments where she was vilified in the media. Like I sat on a panel and they were like, come on, are you kidding me right now? We don't need to talk about her. We already mentioned something about her like 2 weeks ago. And I was like, but she's still out there and we haven't gotten any updates. And I said, I did see a recent update that I haven't even seen the news talk about. People were upset that I asked them to mention her name. So anyway, the U.S. government considered her to be wrongfully detained. So she didn't. So now that whole argument about her and due process, we can just dead that.
Why did it take it so long?
Yeah.
Exactly. That was going to be my question as well too. Like, what was the holdup? Were y'all waiting so many days to see if they were going to release her or something? Now you want to come out and say, okay, let's do XYZ. Okay. Mm-hmm. Y'all know everything is a game. That's what it feels like. It's a game. It's pieces that they move in place and stuff that they try to do. It's just all a game. And like you're playing with people's lives. And I don't think they understand that. I was about to say they don't understand that, but they do understand that. They just don't care.
I don't think they understand the level of savagery that we're actually capable of when we're talking about our families, right? Mm-hmm. So what is a game for them? I think what is the poem or the saying that talks about the Negro being docile until the point where we're not, and the point where we are collectively not going to play around is with our children and our lives. But we're dealing with a political party and a political system, like you said, James. This whole system is playing games, but it's our real lives.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I think we'll just watch as this plays out, but I would love to, because
somebody need to get that sister. Somebody need to get that sister back home.
Yeah. Yeah. And I hope that she comes home, and I know that she's shaken. I know that to be a black woman in that space during the war, that's going to be something that she never forgets.
And nobody got her back.
That's what I'm saying. And it almost made it feel like we can't mention her because her family said that. I didn't see that anywhere. I heard people putting that into articles, but there was no actual quote. Don't mention my daughter, please, because we wanted her to get home free. There was nothing of that. They were saying we're working with, and they're telling us to. They've said for us to be quiet and not to say things. I seen that quoted from her family. I seen Lisa Leslie, I think it was, said that she asked about it and they told her not to talk about it.
Leslie, for the one that they also told to stop tweeting about the Olympics.
The basketball, the phenom.
I'm thinking
Lisa Leslie. You don't know Lisa Leslie Chocolate Sound.
No.
You don't know
Yeah,
Lisa
I do
Leslie. With the legs and the body.
I'm
Still looking at you. But yes.
It sounds like I need to know.
WNBA
Okay.
star. Yeah. It's a lot happening. And to not end it on a sad note, we got some good news, I would say. You know, we talk about a lot of these black areas and these black places that that were once prominently black and thriving in different communities. And we talk about how white people, white leaders, white officials bombed them places, cleared them out, killed people, and went to go sleep with their family members and wake up and eat breakfast right here in America. Tulsa, Oklahoma was one of those places. If you Tulsa, there was the massacre. Now there are people who survived that massacre, and they had actually put in a lawsuit for them to get their money. They put in a lawsuit to sue the city, and so a judge ruled in Oklahoma ruled on Monday that the Tulsa race massacre reparations lawsuit may proceed. Somebody tried to shoot it down. Somebody was like, nah, but they fought for it, and they said that the judge in Oklahoma said that it may proceed. The decision by the Tulsa County Judge Caroline Wall was welcome news to the 107-year-old Viola Ford Fletcher. That's a good black name, Viola Ford Fletcher, and two other survivors of the 1921 massacre. Fletcher is the oldest living survivor of the destruction that ensued when white mobs attacked the prominent Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so now for her, she said her and her family never returned after they fled. And her home was ravaged by fire, and it left her and hundreds of other people either with no family, without things. It was a lot happening. Now, this was back in 1921, and this woman is still alive. And I pray that she gets the reparations that she needs for her family, for them, for every single thing that they went through and was paying for. I hope that they get it all back. I think it was 3 of them that I saw in the video where they were being rolled in their wheelchairs. All of them being rolled up.
All of them under 100, over 100.
Exactly. Wow. And they were present to hear that they would be able to move forward to seek the reparations of that massacre. The fact that I say that there was a massacre that happened and there are people that are living that witnessed that were children that lost family members, that lost a whole life, just the whole, look at them, that lost everything in that moment. And those people who did it have family that probably own vineyards, have family that got free rides into colleges, and they want us to forget about that. They want us to forget that these things happen. But we got people who lived through that time, who are able to tell their testimony from that time, and they remember. So it wasn't long ago. It wasn't what the number that they want to throw out 400 years ago. And so what? 400 years ago was still just like yesterday, because we're still struggling through what our ancestors went through.
So I just hope that the other family members, like I know they said we have these 3, and those are the oldest residents that were alive during then, and made it through. But I'm just wondering, like, are the other families, like families from people that are not here, if they're going to get anything, because those families need to get something as well too.
Yeah.
I hate that the way you said that, Rebecca, because it cuts deep when you think the white folks who took stuff from the people in Tulsa had an entire life. You know what I mean? They had children, they had grandchildren, and they probably got great-grandchildren out here right now telling us we need to work harder when all of what they got is stolen from people, from black people, burned and bombed.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some justice at some point.
Yep. And I hope that they do get justice. I love to see it. Look at her little bag, and look at them. These people are. I feel like they're fighting. They're fighting to stay alive so they can see this day. They're fighting to stay alive so they can be a part of this particular moment. Because they lost a lot, and they had to live through. And probably at that time they didn't have the help to guide them through mentally. They had to just. Right. They had to literally go through it and not die from it, and continue to say, I went through that and I'm stronger now. So it's time.
They wonder why black folks so religious.
Yeah. And then and with black folks, religious looks different in so many different ways. But listen, we didn't have the option to go to therapists or to go to resorts and have a getaway. We had to continue to work and take care of the kids.
Those treatment centers. Yeah,
and we didn't no rehab, no treatment centers, none of that. The wealth that was happening in Tulsa, those white folks couldn't stand to. I said white F. Sorry, y'all. Those white people couldn't stand to see. They couldn't stand to see.
Folk. I heard folk.
And the first word wasn't. Oh. But they couldn't stand to see that. And so now, I feel like having them start over, they thought that they could just have them go into the dust, but they didn't know that these people were seeds, so they would bloom and continue to bloom and grow and become flowers and reproduce and have their little bitties running around, because the reparations will come in your face. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to start dropping names. They're going to start dropping names of the people who were at the head of. This is 2022, baby, and we're not playing games.
Come on now. I was just about to say, this is like the episode of Atlanta I was telling y'all about a few weeks ago. Yeah. Where the black people started coming after the white people for doing all this stuff that their ancestors did. Now, y'all, this wasn't that long ago. A lot of these people still walk around. If they not walking around, their relatives is walking around. So it's going to come a point where people going to get fed up. And if we can't go after the ancestors, the people that did it to us, we're going to get y'all asses in.
I'm sorry. I am sorry, not Catherine. Sorry. But your mama is still alive, and she did that to my grandmama. I can't mess with you, sis. I can't. Listen, I cannot. I don't. It's not you. It's them, right? But you have benefited for what they did to mine. So, now, sis, I don't hate you. Mean it, but it ain't. This will never happen. No kumbaya. No, it's black. It's white. No, it's not. We're not doing any of that. Like, I need to get mine. My kids need to be fed. Baby needs some shoes. Okay, all of that. All of that.
Bubba need an Xbox. Period. And I just hope that the other massacres, because there were many other massacres that happened in many other cities. I just hope that this puts it out there where this will lead others to start stepping up and seeking those reparations as well too, because there's a lot of other cities out here that need to be recognized that we just don't have to go and look at. I think I remember we had this conversation, I think maybe last year. I think we did, and we looked up a list of cities that had massacres similar to this. Y'all remember that?
Yes, and there were so many that are not spoken of, yo. There were so many. And then we talked about that one place, now I'm forgetting the name of it, but the one in Orlando, and I said, why didn't anybody tell? We were riding through this place, and it was preserved black homes that they allowed white people to go in, like, spray paint, that they had to now put fences up in this. They were black communities, black motels, and me riding through it, I got the chills, and my mind that's how I know spirits are real. I just literally was seeing a flourishing area of black people there, and it was bothering me that it no longer belonged to black people.
Right.
It bothered me. Zora Neale Hurston, that's what stuff was. She's from out there, and a museum is out there. And on the side of the museum, they letting anybody come and just F it up. On the side of the museum, it's like spray painted and doors hanging off. And I'm like, this should be actually preserved, but they don't put the same amount of love and trying to preserve our history. They don't put that out there. They don't they want to gentrify it 2 seconds away from it. They reached right at the border of that little area, and they've made new apartments.
Mm-hmm. Red Summer. That's what it was called. Red Summer.
That's right.
It's so much.
That's the summer Dr. Mack talks about. I forgot the precise years, the range, but it coincides with the federal troops being pulled out of the South as a part of an agreement that got someone the White House. In other words, what was allowed to happen in the South was because of Washington, D.C. politics. Ultimately, with the federal troops being removed, the Klan and all the other rednecks and their counterparts got to go in and do what they wanted to us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yet they don't want us to teach critical race theory.
Critical race theory. Come on.
And it's important that we do, because you think I knew that there was somewhere like that for me to see in Florida? Like, besides me going to Tallahassee and being surrounded and getting the knowledge that I did, I'm grateful for my university for that. But I would have never known that just 2 hours away there was something like that in Florida. Yeah. I know there was another area where there was a massacre in Florida, Rosewood. And so you see, we have those things that happen. The massacre only happened because we were black. I need somebody to point me into another reason why these massacres happened, why families had to die. Please tell me.
And how it is that they expect for our present day to not be inextricably linked to those events. In other words, these fools want to make it seem like what's happening in America today to black people is just like some immaculate conception. Like, black people just happen to be out here, and we just happen to be the poorest. We just happen to be the ones in the projects. We just happen to be the ones with all the bad schools. And then they try to make it look like it's just us. It's our fault. How do they do that? They sever us from our history. If we do not know that at every turn where black people got a foot forward, racism came in and killed it. If we don't learn that history, then they'll get away with telling us that the reason we're poor right now is just because we don't work hard enough.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And when we no longer want to work, we don't deserve anything nice. We don't deserve, like, we should continue working in the name of, like, the American way. But I see white people being able to retire at 65, but black people having to work until they're 80, 3 more years, probably 10 more on their life, because black folks don't live a little longer.
Listen,
but
if you have enough time to learn parkour, you're not working as hard as us.
No,
I'm sorry. All those videos on Instagram, all those people jumping off the walls and flipping and stuff and all looking amazing, they don't work hard as we do. Because we ain't got time to go out there and do that.
Yeah, if you can get on TikTok and flourish with your own. White folks can't flourish without us. I'm sorry, and I hate to say that. No offense to any of you guys. Everything that white folks are flourishing from, they have taken it from us. We can be like, we're separating ourselves from your whole community, your whole town, your whole whatever, and it's like they gotta go in there, look at everything, see how they can replicate it, then destroy yours and go do it.
Literally.
It's ridiculous. Couldn't feed their own kids. They needed a black woman to go feed their kids. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. Anyways, we done took it all the way back to the historical times. I just wanted to point out that the Tulsa, Tulsa massacre survivors need the reparations, and anybody else who has, actually all of us, give us the money. We've all have been a product of genocide in our communities just because we was black at the hands of oppressors that are white. And now we are moving forward, and we're still going to push for reparations.
Give y'all a little music while we get this downloaded at least. Boom. Okay, Dwayne, I just dropped it in the in the Slack.
That was the ASMR. Is that what it's called?
Bruh, yes. Oh man, I was like, I can't believe that I did that.
Most of the time when it happens, I have you muted so that like we only hear it behind the scenes. But that was the time I left you unmuted, and that coffee was too good.
And then it didn't help none that I forgot to mute myself. Like normally I'll mute myself if I'm not on screen yet or anything. But my God, today that slurp was like, that was ignorant as hell.
Here we go. I got it.
This is a good move. We should, by all means, the conversation never ends. What we need to do. We know what we need to do as it pertains to this environment. We've known for some time this is the right step in the right direction. It does bug me, though. Absolutely rubs me the wrong way to think that this is somehow tied to war itself. That the impetus behind this is
It makes it even funnier because Ben was in the middle of a whole point, and it was just like. That's what makes it even better.
So I apologize, y'all. It was just like you say y'all see I ain't even got coffee today. I ain't even get coffee. I'm like, you know what?
We need give you a chance to get coffee today. I was like, Bubba, I need you to come in and help save the day. Georgia on, but I don't want to leave her up on by herself. So you just have to skip the coffee today.
Oh man.
I think we have a. I guess we was having too much fun. Rebecca said the show was going off the rails, so she had to hold on here.
Pop her ass up on him. Excuse me. Oh my God!
Don't come here clearing your throat like that.
Right,
I needed to clear my throat for Bubba. He just coughed.
Don't come in here clearing your throat.
Oh my God.
We got time, Rebecca. We got time today.
Of course, you guys have to. I feel like it was a wreck without me.
No.
It was actually not.
We can take a poll. It wasn't.
We actually because we got viewers, child.
But I wasn't talking about you though, Bubba. I really was talking about Dwayne being on the show. That's what I was talking about. So you don't gotta,
Dwayne.
Bubba,
They don't want to see us together, Dwayne.
Hey,
Bubba, you have to have my back. Nobody wanna
Bubba,
see
let me tell you
us
something. So you know, like in the Zoom, right? I don't know how many people know this, but if you ever get like kicked out of a Zoom, you can never come back in that same Zoom.
You can't.
So Rebecca, you better tread lightly. Because
this is not Friday. I don't even know why you're here. Lightly. It's not even Friday, okay?
Look, but because y'all got issues. When I say y'all, Ben and then Rebecca, y'all got issues, so we had to come through and hold it down.
I didn't have an issue. I actually let y'all know beforehand that I wasn't going to be here. At the time, so beforehand, I let you guys know beforehand. That was over 24 hours. It wasn't this morning. It was 24 hours ago. So, but I will say, good morning to everybody. Welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth.
And not care who doesn't like it.
It is damn Thursday at 9:41. It's May 5th. It is Cinco de Mayo. It's my ex-boyfriend Chris Brown's birthday, and then it's my godson's birthday. So happy birthday to my godson Elias, who I named. Who else?
Oh, nice. I like that. It's Revenge of the 5th, of course, and it's Doctor Strange Day.
Okay, all right. But it is all those things.
Wait, Bubba, does that come out tonight?
Oh yeah, I'm going at 3:00. I'll be there.
At the movies?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I guess I might take a stop through the movies. I don't know anything about it, but I feel like I go find out about it when I'm there. I just go call somebody and be like, "Let's go to the movies," and
Okay.
But anyways,
don't know what the movie about.
I'm trying to take you to know movies.
A lot of people want to take me to the movies. So, anywho, I just wanted to, I don't even remember what I dropped yesterday, but I felt like I really wanted to talk about those stories. That's why I really wanted to come on this morning. But I don't even remember what those things were. I believe there was one about, this is what I wanted to drop. I don't know if you guys discussed it already, and I know that this would be actually something that you would want to talk about, Dwayne. I don't know if you guys got there yet. JJ Smith?
JJ Reddick.
We did.
JJ Reddick.
JJ Reddick. Yeah, we did.
JJ Reddick.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Look, me Smith. Yeah, JJ Reddick, who was on one of them shows with Stephen A. Smith. I forgot what that show was called. They were discussing it's First Take. Okay. They were discussing Draymond Green, and I guess something that he does on the court. And one of the people on the panel were saying he does too much or whatever the case may be.
I don't know why I froze.
JJ actually read them for filth. But I would love to play the interview. And can we play the interview? Because I did put it out there. Did we have it?
I mean, we kind of played it already, but we can play it again.
Oh, you guys already discussed it? And Bubba, you are frozen.
For the people.
You are frozen.
I got you. I got you. The whole thing froze up.
Call me Anna. So.
Yes.
Call me Anna.
Elsa. Not Anna. Elsa. Do you want to build a snowman?
My mama gonna cuss me out because I got that wrong. Because she loves some Anna and Elsa child.
You know, Elsa is Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she the ice.
Let it go, let it go. Can't take it back or whatever they said. But the kids know that song. That one in we don't say Bruno.
But Bruno, we don't talk about Bruno, child.
That one is just like, I'm like, it's not the best song of the movie. There's other songs that I feel like were top tier, but the Bruno one was okay. But I felt like there were other songs that were top tier in that.
Have you heard
movie.
The little mix of Bruno where they mix it? They playing with the little kids and they talk, we don't talk about Bruno, and it's like the regular mix, and then the beat fade out, and then the Usher part come in, and the little kids start dancing like. What's this? Yes.
What's the Usher part?
Usher, they start playing Usher's beat behind We Don't Talk About Bruno because it just mixes it so perfectly. Yes.
So my question to you, really quickly, was, I know you guys probably seen this, but where was Usher at 7 p.m.? At 7 o'clock? Where was Usher at 7 o'clock?
He was in his drop top cruising the streets.
Thank you, Dwayne. Bubba, why did you not answer?
Y'all should have saw my face. I'm looking like, I don't know what the hell Usher was. I'm like, is this a dad joke? What's going on?
You were confused. I was expecting you to tell me, Rebecca, he was in his drop top cruising the streets.
You can't forget the doom.
Right.
It's 7 o'clock on the dock. I'm in my drop top cruising the street. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
He's still doing his residency in Vegas. So we're going out there in July to catch that show real quick. That should be a good show.
Nice. I heard that it's real good. My cousin went, and it was a surprise for her
I'm
birthday.
Disappearing on y'all.
I heard it was good too. It better be good, as expensive as them damn tickets was.
Oh well, that's good. It sounds like it's going to be good. That I wanted to. There's a tweet that I wanted to discuss from one of these. What was it, Matt Gaetz? And he was discussing what is the Roe versus Wade possible eradication. And he was talking about women that ain't got no man, right? He tweeted out on Twitter, he was discussing... Hold on, I'm looking for the specific tweet.
No,
do you guys have the specific?
I don't have it because I thought the clip that we had was what we was trying to play, but it was the old sex trafficking clip of him and Tucker. So thank you for coming in and saving that. So if you find the tweet, please. Because me and Bubba was looking crazy earlier. I was like, there's the clip. I was like, nah, this ain't what I thought it was.
You guys, y'all was messing up. So listen, he tweeted out basically, I don't have the specific tweet, but he was basically coming for women who were speaking against, not speaking against abortion, who were pro-choice, and they were speaking against the possible eradication of the Roe versus, because Ben don't like when I say VS, Roe versus Wade. And I think that, I really need to get the tweet because you guys will see how ridiculous this man sounded when he tweeted. He basically was saying, y'all, the people that are upset about this, go home to no man eating frozen dinners. The people that are upset about this, have no lives. The women, they aren't pretty enough. We see why they're mad about the situation. And this is what I'm saying. These are the people who are put in place to have dominion over women's bodies, over women's vaginas, over women's choices. These people like Matt Gaetz, Jimmy Neutron head behind. These are the people, white men with no idea. They're the ones that are put in place that disrespect women, and the reasons why that we're standing with being pro-choice. You know, it's more than just not wanting to be a mother or not being able to be a mother in that time. There are health situations that are a part of this conversation too. For mothers who are high risk, for people who have bad periods, like the list can go on. And it keeps people safe from going in and from being forced to go into a market, a black market to go or self situations that they choose to have abortions. This keeps people safe. Also, who's going to take care of the kids? Matt, you going to take care of the kids?
Nope.
Are you going to
You don't want them taking care of your kids?
Not at all. Yeah, because we heard about Matt. Yep. We heard about Matt and touching folks. I don't know why he's still in place, and also I don't know why he gets to say anything about women's bodies and vaginas. I don't understand. I don't get it. He's pushing laws that don't even support. If women were to go and have these children, there's no health care for real. Women are still trying to get paid leaves in some of their corporate jobs or in some of their jobs, period, when they have babies. Paid leave. Not all jobs offer that. Not all jobs offer that, but they want you to have this child. If something does happen to the child, what about, medical costs? If something happens to the mother, what about medical costs? They're going to put them up in a foster care program where we know how foster care is. It's a terrible place to be. A lot of times these kids get forgotten, hurt. We saw what happened with Ma'Khia Bryant, who was dealing with some things inside of a foster home and ended up, taking her, getting ready to fight somebody and got shot down by police officers. What are we doing here? There's so many things that this thing could lead to. It's a domino effect. But people like Matt Gaetz, who has been accused of sexual trafficking and has been accused of touching folks inappropriately, has been accused of so many things on the line, still gets to get seated and have a conversation and tell women that they're not beautiful enough and they're lonely and nobody wants them. That's why they are pro-choice. You don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. This is our leadership. These are the people who are put in place, and this is very telling. This is very telling. That's why we say it's more than just about pro-choice. It's more than just about religion. People want to tote around religion. It'd be the most Christian folks who are in this space who want to make the call, and white men who want to make the calls over women's bodies, who have had to resort to bringing their side chicks, their mistresses, they sneaky links to the abortion clinic, or having to Venmo or Cash App or Zelle them the money to go get the procedures done. It'd be them. So here's what he tweeted. How many of the women rallying against overturning Roe are overeducated, underloved millennials who sadly return from protests to a lonely microwave dinner with their cats and no Bumble matches? White men is killing black women on Bumble anyway, so nobody's trying to do that. Overeducated? So you want the women to be dumb? Overeducated. Help me understand. And underloved millennials. Millennials ain't underloved. We out here in these streets. We just choosing not to choose because the housing is ridiculously expensive. Having a baby is ridiculously expensive right now. We can't afford to do those kind of things. Ain't nobody being underloved. Sex is real out here. Sex is selling. Sex is everywhere. Every corner you turn, it's real beautiful out here. It ain't underloved, and we're choosing to live alone because don't nobody want nobody in their space right now. It's a lot going on in this world. Mentally, we're trying to keep ourselves together, okay? Until somebody comes along and we can make it happen. Bumble is not the key. So that whole tweet is just a fool. Clearly, he's not happy with his life. He's throwing this out there, and he got this man sex trafficking. Let's talk about being underloved. Like, it's a fool. We don't need the pot calling the kettle black, white. We don't need none of that. We really don't. Is Bubba back yet? Because I am. I'm trying to see something.
Okay. Coming to the stage, James, you got to get that out of my vernacular. I cannot introduce professors like we're at Players Club.
Like they're strippers coming to the stage.
When he did it with Rebecca, I'm like, coming to the stage.
But I did warn him. I said, Professor Sinkowitz, this is a foreign.
Mighty Matt.
I said, Professor. God, I can't stand you.
Take it.
Listen.
No, I follow now. Okay, new plan. But that's fine. I can do that.
Okay, good. Improvise, Matt. Improvise.
Professor, I did warn you. I said, this is a foreign policy discussion, but I know your schedule said you had to be here at 9:15. I said, well, we're in rare form by 9:15, Doc. I don't know how professionally we could discuss this, but we can start with your book. Let's talk about your book first, which I think is a good segue into conversation. And the title of it again is That's Not Funny. I don't have it in front of me. We do have a graphic, Dwayne, if you don't want to pull it up on the screen for us.
Yeah, I've got a new book. It comes out today. It's called "That's Not Funny: How the Right Makes Comedy Work for Them." It's, to be clear, it's from a left perspective. So I've got a co-author, Nick Marks, professor over at Colorado State, and we spent a couple of years watching right-wing comedy, watching the stuff that people on the right are doing. Again, it's called "That's Not Funny." I'm not trying to tell you it's funny, but we make an argument that comedy on the right is a powerful way that it galvanizes people in that part of the spectrum, that it's something that you should know about. You probably have heard of some of the figures we write about in the book, but you might not know some others. And we make an argument again. We're not trying to tell you to be amused by it. We're trying to say that this is actually a part of contemporary politics that often goes unnoticed. So yeah, that comes out today. It's available Amazon. That's from the University of California Press. If you don't want to use the big bad Amazon. Yeah, it's available. Yeah.
Oh, no, man. Congratulations. I didn't realize that today was the release day. I'm so glad that we got you here this morning. So I was lucky and read your first book when we discussed it. So I'm excited to see you just continue to do what you do. Name a couple of the figures that you researched and you had to listen to their quote unquote comedy, because I've yet to find any Republican that's funny.
Yeah, again, and to be clear, there are people, look, we looked at such a range of people that there are moments here and there, but the overall sort of trend is not something that we're going to try to convince you that it's, we're not making a sort of taste judgment here. We're talking about politics, right? So we start with Greg Gutfeld, who imagine is getting more familiar to people. Greg Gutfeld has been on Fox News for a long time. And, he started off at this sort of weird kind of overnight show called Red Eye, and he's gotten bigger and bigger. He now has what is often the highest rated late night comedy show. He beats Colbert with some regularity. So we talk about Fox News. Yeah, for sure.
Wait a minute. I don't mean to interrupt what you're going on, but Greg Gutfeld, who has the most cringe-worthy comedy in the face in America, is beating Colbert on some nights.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's been beating The Daily Show for a long time. He beats Kimmel. There's different, if you really want to squint at it, you can say, well, what about online viewership? We're just talking about on cable. You can definitely say that Gutfeld is the only person who goes for that right-wing audience, right? So everybody else is like dividing it up, and he's going for just one thing on his own. But yeah, he gets his numbers are at the top of the ratings when it comes to late night comedy. And again, that's not a statement about quality. That's a statement of just empirical fact. That's people watch it. So we talk about how Fox News, like for way back when they tried to do comedy, it flopped entirely. Now, again, whether you like it or not, they use it successfully. They use it to invigorate and get, it's still an old audience over at Fox News, clearly, but a little bit less old, perhaps, a little bit less sort of geriatric feeling. So we talk about Greg Gutfeld and Jesse Waters, who's also a character who I get nothing nice to say about, except that he is there to be a comic figure on Fox News. We talk about other figures who are a little more complicated politically. So we talk about Joe Rogan, and we note that Joe Rogan's personal politics are very tricky, but he certainly serves as a platform for a lot of people on the right, in addition to the left, but on the right as well. We talk about the world of libertarian comedy, which, sometimes is, can be not quite as offensive. And then there's shows like the Legion of Skanks, which is, sort of it's phrased in terms of free speech, but the free speech they use is to, use racist slurs and misogynist terms and all that sort of thing.
I'm upset with myself that the title made me chuckle, but that was the point of the title, right?
That's the point.
I was on mute. I started laughing.
I did too.
That's the point. we talk about the Babylon Bee. You might be familiar with the Babylon Bee. It's sort of,
I hate them.
Yeah, that's fine. Again, I'm not here to tell you to like any of it. Yeah. So it's like the Onion. It actually started. And I'd be interested another longer maybe.
I just wish they were. I hate them because they suck. I hate them because they don't have quality work. Like the title. What was it? The Legion of Skanks. Like that's creative. I've yet to find anything from Babylon Bee that even makes me chuckle. But you're going to tell me now that they're pretty successful.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you that they do pretty well. I mean, you don't see it, right? I mean, you know how this works in the world of like your social media feed is curated by yourself, but also by algorithms. We have a chapter that talks about. I'm sure you'll love all these characters, Ben. You're going to enjoy this hat trick of three people or three groups. It's Babylon Bee. We talk about Ben Shapiro, and we talk about Steven Crowder, who's the change my mind guy, like the guy who goes to campus. And we make.
He's the one I told on Christmas Day. He went on Facebook on Christmas Day and was like how much he loves the Lord Jesus. I'm like, dude, Jesus doesn't even like you. He's such an evil person that he doesn't. I'm sorry.
Right.
He doesn't like Jesus has to love him, but he doesn't have to like him, is what I was telling him. But you're naming some of the worst figures, and I'm being triggered because you're telling me they're all successful. Go ahead.
Definitely. I mean, they are successful. I mean, they are successful. They are powerful in their worlds, right? Again, they're not going to convince you of anything. And you might be interested in that chapter, particularly, Ben. The connection we make there is that so Crowder, Shapiro, and the Babylon Bee, they have a sort of religious background to them and a religious backdrop, but then they also have like a debate club thing that they try to do. It's sort of the worst of both worlds, right? They take kind of the parts of religion that you might find, to be exploitative or objectionable, and then kind of the sophistry, the debate club try to trick you and convince you that they're right. And it's supposed to be jokes too, right? I mean, that's how Crowder works. Again, you probably don't, if you've seen his like Change My Minds, you probably don't personally find them funny, but he's doing crowd work. He is trying to get the crowd laughing in order to convince people towards his ridiculous, generally offensive positions. But it's what he's doing. And then just to finish off the sort of where we go, we also talk about the sort of far edge. And it'll actually bring us into our discussion here, Ben. So we talk about right-wing trolls, Holocaust deniers, guys like Nick Fuentes, this totally horrible thing. It's the show called The Daily Shoah, which is a Nazi podcast. Shoah is the Hebrew term for the Holocaust. So haha, right? But people listen. And an argument we make is that these connect together in ways that, nobody wants to admit over there. But you can get from these more mainstream people to the real extremes, including stuff like the Daily Shoah.
Nick Fuentes.
Just a few clicks, right? They work together.
It's amazing how you can go from Greg Gutfeld all the way down to Nick Fuentes and the pure, unadulterated Nazism that exists in this country with just maybe 3 clicks. And that's sobering.
Right. And
listen, I want to see if we can do a critical international relations analysis in about 3 minutes. I reached out to you to discuss, Sergei Lavrov using particular language about Volodymyr Zelensky, referring to him as in a way of like Hitler, and then when questioned as a Nazi, and then when questioned about it, he uses some excuse about Hitler having some Jewish heritage. There's a lot to unpack on there. We don't have a lot of time. Would you let me know your thoughts on it and how it fits into the broader scheme of our geopolitics?
Yeah, well, first, that's boss level anti-Semitism, right? That is like taking it to the greatest extreme, right? So first thing needs to be said, even though I don't even know if it ought to even be acknowledged, right? This is not true. This notion that Hitler is Jewish is a anti-Semitic conspiracy to say, oh, the Jews did this to themselves. And just to be clear, this is a tactic that hateful people do in towards all sorts of groups. And I don't want to give examples, but you can find everywhere if a group is victimized or sort of assaulted. They did it to themselves. They deserve it in some way. And the ultimate way to do that in the context of anti-Semitism is to say, Hitler himself was Jewish, right? Which is not. You can read every. Whether it's a German historian, whoever, that there's nothing to this. It is not true. It is a way to take Zelensky and try to package him in something that obviously doesn't fit. right? For the Russians, somewhat understandably, right? They have a history of using Nazism as their ultimate enemy, right? Because of World War II, right? So anybody who is anti-Russian, there's at least they're going to see if they can take that path and say they have some connection to Nazism. Zelensky does not fit that box, right? Zelensky is not in any way a Nazi, but also he's Jewish. And so the only way to square that circle, which is unsquareable, is to lie about Zelensky and to lie about Hitler in this case. And what really could be worse?
You know what? I can actually say a whole lot less because you've hit the critical points there, Professor Sinkowitz. And we haven't had a chance to have you on the air for some time, man. I'm glad to have you here this morning. And it couldn't be a better morning celebrating your release of your new book, That's Not Funny, How the Right Makes Comedy Work for Them, Professor Matt Sinkowitz, and also your co-writer, Nick Marks. It is out and available today. Go check it out. Professor, we'll see you next time.
It's great to see you, Ben.
A pleasure is ours.
And also this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. So I would definitely like to have some guests on for the month of May who are going to chat about mental health awareness. So the woman that you had on prior to, I'm sorry, Ben, your colleague, I hate that I forgot her name, but let's discuss mental health awareness for the month of May. Not only is it Mental Health Awareness Month, it also is Haitian Heritage Month. So be prepared to be sick of me. I might be just speaking in Creole all of a sudden.
It's a lot of stuff going on in May because y'all know what else is in May? Masturbation month is May.
No, it's not. You don't.
Yes,
tell me that. That is not even a real thing. That's not a real thing. I'm not accepting that. I'm definitely not Googling it to find out if it's true. So I'm just it's gonna not exist in my mind.
Cinco de Mayo is Thursday as well too. So yes, May has a lot of stuff going on.
But yes, my birthday is the most important after Haitian Heritage. So
Mother's Day.
My birthday. So happy birthday to me. Make sure you know what I'm saying. Y'all know what's up. I'm turning 32. Just if you don't follow me now, you better follow me on the social medias to see what 32 is going to look like because it's going to be really cute. Anywho, we're at the end of the show.
I know you got a hard out.
I got to be in the streets. You guys are kids. You guys are children. You guys are children. It is Tuesday, and you guys are children. You guys are children this morning. Love you guys so much. Mean it. We're at the end of the show. I hope that we can come back tomorrow.
I wish you would have dropped that video, Ben, that you tagged me in on Instagram, because that would have just been it.
Oh my God, Charles Barkley. Oh my goodness. And what's funny is, hey, Charles Barkley talk about, when you got a man banging into you, and he was as oblivious to his double entendre as I always am.
But you know who caught it though. You know who was laughing.
You know,
we'll play that clip tomorrow. Kikiing. But hopefully we can get Noah back tomorrow to develop the story a little bit more when it comes to the Roe versus Wade decision. But yeah, hopefully we can get her back tomorrow. Her power went out. Love her. Mina, thanks for coming on to the show. Thanks Matt Sinkowitz for coming on and dropping his book. What was it? You weren't funny. You ain't that funny.
That's not funny.
That funny.
Yeah.
That's not funny. That's not funny. Go listen to Future's album, I Never Liked You. It's Taco Tuesday. Love you guys. Mean it.
And Jesus never liked Steven Crowder either.
Taco Toxic Tuesday. Y'all listen to Future while eating y'all tacos.
Hey, y'all. That's what that is. Love y'all. See you.
When I was down.
All of y'all going to hell. All right, y'all. We love y'all. Mean it. Y'all have an awesome Taco Tuesday, man. And thank you again for tuning in to the Benjamin Morning Show, man. Shout out to all our guests that we have, and shout out to all of our hosts as well, too. And shout out to everybody behind the scenes, Dwayne, Tiger, Josh, David Ass, who's on vacation, and everybody. We love y'all. Mean it. Hey, we will see y'all tomorrow. Your affirmation for this Taco Tuesday is, I allow my wisdom to guide me to the best choices. I allow my wisdom to guide me to the best choices. Y'all gonna be great, man. We will see y'all mañana. That's tomorrow, right, Dwayne?